we have an empty slate right here. So we're gonna run knifeless, and I am just gonna carry the body line. A few little things with knifeless, my hand can actually direct it. So as you're laying this, you turn, and it'll allow the knifeless to follow body lines a lot easier. So I carried that one pretty clean through there. And a little tidbit, yellow line. This is finish line. Yellow line doesn't snap, so don't yank on it. Pink line snaps, yellow line cuts your finger. For anybody that hasn't used it. Bam. Watch for this in your knifeless. If you're trying to lay nice clean lines and you have this, you need to stop. Pull that chunk out, look for a better length of it, because it's not gonna pull clean. And I don't wanna run a knife on this car and clean up the edges. So I'm gonna just start again. Little wobble right there, gonna go there. They're gonna be all through it, it's just which ones are gonna be worst. This looks like a much better strip. Easy part was doing the other side. Now I have to make it try and match. This is our start. So we're gonna lay red, then we're gonna lay the black carbon fiber. I'm starting on this one. This is finish line. Finish line has a yellow filament on the inside. Finish line does not snap nearly as easy. So as I'm pulling this, I don't want it to snap. I'm following body lines. It follows lines really well. It doesn't curve as much as design line. Design line has a pink filament, but I'm gonna use this to set up my lines for this side, and then we're gonna use some tri-line, and I'll show you guys how to use the tri-line for doing a smaller section of carbon fiber. All right, so now this is the design line, so it has the pink filament. Can you see it? I'm gonna use it back here. I'm gonna gap from the edge of the car using the green on the edge and just bring it around. The reason I'm using design line back here is I have a pretty sharp turn. So I'm gonna take it out and turn. One of the big things, now pink line again, snaps. One of the big things is when you're bringing knifeless around corners, a lot of the time people wanna take knifeless and they'll wanna stretch. If you stretch too much, see how it wants to pull up? So when you come around this corner, in order to get it to stay, don't take and pull tight, because what you'll end up happening is this wants to pull. And then inside here, can you zoom in on that, Tim? So this filament, I don't know if you guys can see it, but what'll happen is if you pull really tight, that filament will actually break loose from your line and it'll shoot over and it'll want to come to the edge. So instead of staying right centered, it'll drop down, and then your nice clean line is not a clean line. So now if you lay all that vinyl and you don't want to cut on that car, you either now have to be able to cut on the car or you have to pull that piece of vinyl, redo it, relay it, everything. So as you come around that corner, don't pull real tight. You want to take your hand and turn it as you're going to go. So you're going to turn and turn and turn, and just don't pull it real tight. And if you start to feel it kind of wrinkle or anything, pull it back up, work it a little bit better. You can get a lot more curve in design line than you can the finish line. But again, the end of it snaps really easy. So if you don't want to have your line snapping and you can use it for longer, straighter lines, use the finish line. All right, now that we've laid it, I wipe it down one more time again, make sure there's no dust, greasy fingers from when we're doing the fine line. Here. We're gonna slide this right up underneath, get it just past where I need it, pin that. And there's a little bit of an angle to this. And so to get rid of, you can see if I go like this and I try and follow that line, see all this? This ripples up. So this is where if we take this and I just pull tight, it's all spread out, come down to the end, like that. Take this piece, and this whole thing is now laid clean. And I'm not gonna have any bunching. Proper stretch makes all the difference. Make sure that you set that line really well. Make sure those lines are nice and tight. Air's out. Set my end. Now again, guys learning, don't remember, haven't done it a lot. We're gonna do this real quick. I'll show you guys this a couple times so that you know. This one, I'm pulling second. This one, I'm pulling third. This one, I'm gonna pull first, right here. So this is my number one right here. I'm gonna pull this one, then I'll pull number one, or number two, and then I'll pull number three. So I'm gonna pull this one first, pull number two, pull number three. Start, roll it over, quick snap, come to your edge, pull through, pull this, and as you pull it, maintain that curve. If you're pulling at an angle, it will not come out always as clean as you want. Now, let's go down. Which one are we doing next here? Number two. This line is on top of this line, so I want to pull it first. If I don't, I'm gonna jack up my other line. So I started it, pull, get to the edge, pop it through. Once it's popped through, maintain that line. If you see I'm following my line the whole time, don't pull at an angle up or down. Pull straight through, all the way through, nice and clean. If you leave a little bit on the end, you can always grab this a lot easier than stripping it all the way through. Makes it easier to grab everything, pull it all off. Little side note, if you do this as you're pulling it, anybody been fighting with knifeless all wrapped up in your hands? As you pull, use that. Now I don't got knifeless all wound up in the wheels of my chair. Next line. This one, I don't want to pull at an angle. I want to pull through something square here. This will end up jacking that line up. It won't end up cutting through nice. I'll even show. So here you're gonna wanna pull in, and it's not gonna wanna cut through there clean. It's gonna wanna go underneath the line, okay? You can go like this and pop it through, and that will work, but to just be safe, if you don't do knifeless all the time, I have a good flat edge back here, so I can start it, pop it through, and I don't have to worry. Pull your line nice and safe, straight through, and I'm not gonna pull my bottom pieces out from that end because it's so small, it's not gonna allow me to pull it very easily. So I'm gonna do it here. That way I have a nice clean edge. BEA, beautiful. Bada boom, bada bang. Bada boom, bada bang. Now we're gonna go empty side, trim that off, and drop that in.